Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start by giving infinite praise, honor, and glory to yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, Barak, qadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well through 100% truth and sincerity. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, which is the Israelite foreigners that were scattered amongst. To you and only to you I say shalom. It's your brother Aharon here from the Great Millstone DC branch, coming to you with a quick impromptu lesson through the spirit and truth of yahawah bahasham yahawashi. This is Jeremiah chapter 46 and verse 28. Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith the Lord. And in these times that we're coming into, you have to have the faith to fear not, man. You have to be girded up through the spirit, the qadash of yahawah bahasham yahawashi, because these times that we're about to come in, you're going to need, dire help from the Lord, yahawah bahasham yahawashi. And ultimately, if you have the comforter, these scriptures, faith, application of what has been told to you through the teachings of yahawah bahasham yahawashi's message, then you're going to be able to uphold yourselves through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of yahawah bahasham yahawashi, which shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of salvation. But understand right now, the Lord is correcting you. That way, you don't get the ultimate punishment, which is death, destruction, fire. Okay? So like the Lord said, fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith the Lord, for I am with thee. For I will make a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee, but I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in measure, yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished. And the Lord's going to destroy, these nations, man. All right? Whither the Lord has driven us to. All right? They continuously oppress, afflict the Lord's people. But what? He's going to discipline his people so that they come around and, change their ways. That way, when it comes down to it, the Lord, shows his mercy and grace upon, those that have called upon his name, that fear, yahawah bahasham yahawashi. Because what? Through this correction, you're able to, change your ways and receive this engrafted word, which can save your soul. This is James 1 and verse 21. Oldie but goodie. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness. And this is what the Lord is telling you through the correction that is being given out. Through the exhortation, through the admonishment, you should be laying apart from the filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness. That moral filth that, causes you to lead unto death and destruction. All right? And receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. And this is the true comforter. The words of yahawah bahasham yahawashi, which you're going to be corrected, reproved, led in righteousness, right? And this word is like a two-edged sword, which it can be used to cut others, but ultimately it cuts you too, And this is why you have to, apply what is being, spoken. Like the scripture says in verse 22, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. You got to be a doer of this word, not just one that, hears this word, right? And doesn't apply it. The Lord chasteneth those that he love. All right? Like the scripture says, got a couple of them, Deuteronomy 8 and 5. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Lord thy power chasteneth thee. Same way that, you see, okay, a father to his son, and he corrects his son. He tells him what's right and what's wrong. So does the Lord Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, do to us, man. This is all what we're here for. To reprove us, to correct us, to be led unto salvation. And Lord's willing, we're part of the elect, right? And not labeled as those rebellious, children that won't hear the word. Because it's a reward for those that, do not hear that reward. So like that do not hear the word, which is what? Fire, man. Death, destruction, no matter how it comes upon them. The Lord said 2/3 of his people shall be cut off and die. Right? But what? Job 5:17. Behold, happy is the man whom Yahawah bahasham yahawashi correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. Because through the correction, you're able to what? Walk and uphold yourselves through the spirit and truth of Yahawah bahasham yahawashi. And yet it may seem like you're going through, hard times, but this minor affliction is nothing compared to the greater glory that's about to come, right? So like it says in Proverbs 15 and verse 10, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. And if you do not forsake the way, then correction will be a beneficial thing to be a part of, to hear, all right? Because what? It leads you into righteousness. It leads you to receive this engrafted word, which is able to save your soul, right? And it says, and he that hateth reproof shall die. So if you're not acceptable unto the reproof of Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, you're gonna take the chastening as if like, why the Lord is putting me through this? The Lord doesn't love me. You're gonna start to mock and scoff against Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, which then, the Lord shows his love by what? Correcting you, right? Like he did his son yahawashi. All right, he said it pleased him to bruise him with many stripes. So if you think that you're not gonna go through it, then how are you putting on as the hopeful elect, right? Proverbs 15:32. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. So if you're not receiving the instructions or the chastening or the correction of the Lord, just understand that you're despising your own soul, which you're walking in your own way, leading yourself into destruction. It says, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. And this is what this is all about. With all thy getting, get understanding. Because through the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of thy time, which we're about to come into. It's going to be the strength of salvation. But the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So you should be, upholding yourselves, through the chastening of the Lord. Because what? The Lord Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, love to show you what is correct. Proverbs 3 and verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. Don't become faint-hearted because you're being corrected all the time, from Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, right? It says, for whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. And they could tell that Yahawah bahasham yahawashi loveth us because what? He's correcting us, giving us this holy word which separates us from the world. All right. And it says, continuing on, verse 13, Proverbs 3:13, happy is the man that findeth wisdom and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. And yeah, you find out this wisdom, man, and you apply it. And it shows that how much it's valuable to your everyday life. Because what? This is the length of thy days, through yahawah bahasham, who is the author of life and death. But you have an option, which in the Lord has set before you, to choose life or to choose death, man. Right? But he's correcting those that he loveth. And if you're not accepting that correction, shows that you do not love the Lord Yahawah bahasham. So all thy days, man, accept the correction of the Lord, apply it into your everyday life, and remember, the Lord Yahawah bahasham loveth you because he chasteneth and correcteth you. And he shows his delight if you're hearkening unto it. So, Lord's willing, just a quick exhortation lesson through the spirit and truth of Yahawah bahasham. I want to end off by saying, call halalyam la abanawa yahawah bahasham yahawashi bahasham qadash shanya kabad kawala rekwab zakwanya now by. And remember, happy is the man that findeth wisdom and the man that getteth understanding. And remember, the Lord Yahawah bahasham, like he said in verse 12, for whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. So continue to be corrected and accept that love through the correction of Yahawah bahasham.